Good day and welcome to your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me on The Conversation a fellow public affairs analyst, Comrade Razak Kolade Olukoba, popularly called RKO. Comrade Olukoba, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good day, viewers.
And Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
We are seeing for the first time
Yes.
this year. Yeah, we give God the glory. On this edition of the program, we want to look at topical national issues. And top of the agenda for today's program is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's slash of presidential delegation for local and foreign trips by 60%. And that initiative, that policy by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has continued to generate reactions all over the country as a means of cutting costs. For some time now, the issue of high cost of governance has dominated public discourse. And one of the areas in which the cost of governance, has become an albatross on the national treasury is the delegation of government officials on local and foreign trips. Even before now, we've seen a lot of groups take their agitations and clamor to even the National Assembly. But lo and behold, just last week, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by presidential directive, directed the presidency to slash the cost of travel for the president for local trips for the president to 25%, the vice president 15%, the first lady 10%, the wife of the VP 10%, as well as for the president for foreign trips. The president is entitled to 20% on his delegation. The vice president, the first lady, VP are all entitled to 5%, while ministers and head of agencies are entitled to 4% on their delegation. This move has continued to earn the government applause from the cross-section of Nigerians who have said this is a step in the right direction. And for me, I think it builds on the other arms of government, as well as tiers of government, because this is an initiative or a policy statement from the presidency, which is the executive council at the federal level. We also have the legislature at the federal level as well. That's the House of Reps and the House and the Senate, as well as the judiciary. Then for the tiers of government, we have the states as well as the local government. And if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the #1 citizen of the country, has taken this bold and commendable move, it builds on other gladiators in the Nigerian project to toe the same line. And that is why, for us here at The Conversation, we are looking at this issue from the point of view that how can we encourage, how can we enjoin the other arms of government to toe similar lines with regards to expenditure of public funds, to look at where the public purse is having a hit due to government expenditure that can be slashed by whatever percent to make more funds available for the benefit of Nigerians as a whole.
Well, that's a good move, but the call for some of these things at times, we have to understand it very well. It has to be done with moderation, particularly for the president, because the delegation of the president entails so many things. People who avert the poisonous wave. The poisonous wave is the wave that will transmit a trigger of a time bomb. There are those who will follow president to avert that.
Yeah.
There are those who will follow president that if there's an attack, people will ward it off. And people who have responsibility not to do anything to people who are attacking president than the life of the president. That's the DSS. The police have to ward off. So if you look at all these people, they have different
functions or different rules.
So we have to be very careful with how he's going to moderate his view. And I want to strongly advise him that, just like I've said before the program, that he must have gotten security clearance before he will do that. That means one or two officers will be doing 3, 4, 5 a job at a time, because we cannot compromise the life of our president because of blackmail from media or social media. But like we have said, it's important to bring down the cost of governance. If you want to tell other people to tighten their belt, we must be very
Live by example.
Be very careful and live by example. So he has done a very, very, very marvelous job. And the most recalcitrant arm of government, actually the legislatures.
Why do you say that?
Up to today,
Yes.
the more you try to argue with them about their salary scale, their allowances, the trips, the committee allowances, and the number of staff that are supposed to attend to them, the more they keep giving you arguments that that's what they actually need to do their work. And that's not actually what they needed to do their work. That's why you see, in the rest of the world, it's a part-time job because you don't have to be paid so much. And that's why you see people taking school fees to them. I want to marry. It's because of the money they are taking. So I think it is important for Nigerians to also mount the same pressure on legislators, particularly legislatures.
You know,
they need to do that.
I absolutely agree with you. But when the legislature comes out to tell us that the cost of running their office is commensurate with what they earn, I think we can have a debate on this or a discussion. Because you don't forget that the role of the legislature does not begin and end within the chambers where they preside. The legislature also has the role of oversight functions as well as other roles in its community. And if a lot of times the amount being peddled out there, we have been unable to put our fingers to the actual emolument and salaries of the legislature. And I think it will serve our democracy better if they themselves can come clean and let us know, so that we also will be on the same page with them. But as it is now, sadly for me, when there is this issue of, the arm of government that gets the hits most, it is always the legislature.
When they are not open.
No, it's not about when they are not open. It's because people tend to look down the legislature as if they don't matter. Meanwhile, they are the bastion of democracy. Because in a military government, or even in a monarchical government, you have the executive and the judiciary. But the legislature
are always absent.
Absent. But the legislature now has come into the fray, and they want to, a lot of times, they want to hide from the heat and allow, if you talk about, for example, if somebody comes up today now and say, a government has failed, a lot of times the question I ask, in what area has it failed? When we talk about government, the legislature is also part of the government, because they have to make laws for the good of the country.
But because we are not used to them.
They have been
very absent for a long time.
They have been very absent, yes.
You see, what is the job we actually gave to the legislatures to do? Make laws and perform oversight functions. These jobs at times requires them to leave the chamber to go into committee works. If that is the work we give them to do, the salary is outrageous. Let's break it down. When you want to travel, each senator, before, they are entitled to a certain amount of money per person. All the executive, all the legislators, the House of Rep, senator, a amount is a portion for them. Some are scared to even touch it. It was 30 million before per person. You can find out. In a year, the following year, each person, I don't know for the senator, but the senator is far higher.
Higher than
so some members of the parliament will spend it and dip hand into other people who are scared of spending it. Until the time they now lump it up. It can become a lump sum now that you are entitled to go maybe 1 or 2 times in a year. If you don't go, we'll take the money back to the pool. Which parliamentary exchange do you want to do that you must travel out of country all the time to fight for me?
No, it could be to deepen his knowledge with democratic principles.
If we continue with this attitude that we have to solve our problem locally and understand our peculiarities, we are giving them escape route too, because the legislator, I know that there must be exchange program.
No, I don't agree that. I know there must be. I don't agree that you are giving them. One thing about
particularly at a time when the economy is looking this rickety.
Okay.
We must be careful. The more you consume foreign food, the more it gives pressure to our naira. And that is why they must also try to modify whatever naira they want to seek outside Nigeria too. If you are saying people local content, it doesn't stop at consumption of food only. It's also consumption of ideas too.
Absolutely.
So the legislative idea they want to seek for that takes each person to go out of Nigeria 3 times in a year. Is outrageous. What are they going to? Yes. And it overlaps.
They can even benefit from those exchange programs.
Yes.
Technologically. That they don't have to go over there. They have to go.
That's the point I'm making.
And that is why we are enjoining them. We are appealing to them to take a cue from the executive, from the president, that the president has looked at his functions or his activities,
that is
and
the point.
has decided that, this is one place we can cut costs. So I think it behoves on us also to challenge the legislators to be responsible, and be in consonance with economic realities of the Nigerian people.
Yes.
Because
even the president has all the excuse to travel, because the foreign policy simply means that you want to go and sell your country to the rest of the world.
Yes.
And they want to see your president.
He's the chief marketer.
Yes, he's the chief marketer. Make commitment to us.
Yes.
Fine. So he has more reason to excuse to say that I want to travel, yes. I want to do this. And if he wants to travel, automatically other people will go with him, his aides will go with him.
Yes.
Then the agency is taking over, if it is foreign policy or military.
The security agencies will all be there.
Will all be there. They are an army minister for this and that. If it is economy. But he said, no, we can modify, we can improvise. Let's find a way of doing it. It's not necessary for you to be there. Let's find a way. And that's kudos to him. So they need to also be able to do that. Okay. And my brother, you see, me and you always have issue around one particular issue, which is the question of resource control. See, me, it is the more resources that is in the pocket of federal government, the more people who subdivide this money into various arms of government. If the states control their resources and give the one that is due to federal government, we will improvise. But nobody will have the excuse to be implementing a community project by legislators again. It is because of the money that is available. And that's a way to achieve prudency. If you limit... Yeah.
Sadly or unfortunately, as you were talking, one tier of government that Nigerians take their eyes off in terms of accountability and transparency in government is the states. A lot of times, in fact, we have seen situations where some state governors have been labeled Abuja governors.
Yes.
They will permanently leave their state ungoverned and come and sit in the federal capital territory.
The media, they are in the eye of the media recently. Kwara state governor and some other governors are like...
and some are always out of the country.
They made that list. And so... and like we have said, you see, when you compel states to generate their own resources, what it means is that you must force yourself to look for money. You can't be looking for money to run your state in Abuja. Absolutely. You will stay in your state.
You stay, yes.
In fact, states like Lagos, Kano, Rivers, and they are in the eye of the storm all the time. 1 week will not pass. Something must be said about Lagos. Okay, but there are some states that you hardly hear them for almost 2 years. And they've been running their government silently. And that is not how to run.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Olokoba. We have had a fruitful discussion on this issue. We must commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this commendable and cost-saving measure to free up more resources for development and the benefit of the Nigerian people. And we call on the other tiers of government to follow suit on this laudable, adventure by the president, as well as the arms of government, the legislature, as well as the judiciary, that this is a time that calls for cost-saving measures. If we are telling our people on the streets to save, to cut their coats according to their clothes, it also builds on those who are saddled with, governmental responsibility to also show that responsibility with regards to public expenditure. That is where we want to call it a day on this first stanza of the program. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation on TV 360. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.